Hey beauty babes, welcome to my channel. I am Maria, aka Agape Love Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be talking all about my favorite eye brushes. This was requested on my Instagram. I had someone reach out and ask if I can do a dedicated video all about my eye brushes that I use and a little bit about them and stuff like that. Now I will say that in my tutorials I usually always try to say, I didn't used to, but I started doing it to try to be more helpful. But I usually always try to say which brushes I'm using and at least somewhat try to describe the brush. That way if you don't have that specific brush, you can look for something similar. Additionally, some of the brushes I use more currently are a little bit more expensive, like the Smith brushes. So I know not everyone wants to splurge on those type of expensive brushes, or maybe just don't have the ability to splurge on those expensive brushes. Normally I don't splurge on brushes because I know that there are affordable options out there, but I purchased mine on while I was at IMATS and got them at a discount. And I love them. But anyways, there are a variety of brushes that I use at a variety of different prices. So if you've ever been interested in the brushes that I use or my favorite brushes, here they are. Now up first I want to mention this brand specifically and this brush set specifically because this is a brand of brushes that I use all the time. I don't always mention this brand. I usually just mention the type of brush. I'll say like, oh, a blending brush or a pencil brush. But most of the time if I don't mention a brand name, this is most likely the brand I'm using, and it is from Beauty Junkies. Now Beauty Junkies is a very affordable brand. They have their own website. You could also purchase them on Amazon, and they're very, very affordable, very affordable brushes. But the quality is that of Sigma in my opinion. So they have all kinds of brushes for face, they have sponges, they have eye brushes, they have sets. You could purchase things individually, but the brush that I'm going to be talking about today is their 8-piece brush set, and I believe that it's a $25 set, which is a very reasonable price. You get the brushes as well as a little pouch to put them in. It's a very cute little pouch, says the little Beauty Junkies logo, and it's pink on the inside, and you get 8 brushes. And I think that if you maybe are new or just starting out, don't have a lot of brushes, this would be a really great set to get, or even just a brand to look into. I will have them linked below. I'll try to link everything below that I mentioned, all the brands and brushes and things like that. But if you are needing a brush set, this set is a really great one because it has pretty much everything you need. And these are brushes that I use very, very frequently. I don't use every single one of these all the time, but most of these brushes I use all the time. And like I said, they have a variety of different sets. So this is their 8-piece one. They do have one that's a little bit smaller with 4 pieces. I think they might even have a 5-piece one. But anyways, check out their site. I'll have some things listed below, but let's go ahead and just get into the 8-piece brush set. You're going to get the all over shader brush, and this is like your standard typical packing lid shadow brush. It's really, really great, and it really packs a punch of color all over the lid. Very easy to use. It has that dome kind of shape that's just like perfect for getting onto the lid. I'm usually doing a lot more detailed work, so I tend to use smaller brushes on my lid because I'm doing like different things, so I don't always use that brush all the time, but it's a great brush. The next brush you're going to get in the set is the Precision Eyeliner brush. Again, this is another brush I don't use very, very often because I don't do eyeliner a ton, and if I do, I'm using a like a liner pen. But when I have used this, oh my gosh, this is one of the most precise eyeliner pencils out there. I remember the first time I used this with like a gel eyeliner, I was blown away by how well my wing liner looked and how well I got it. And I had tried before with other brushes. This one is just, it's the best. It's so, so good. Okay, then you're going to get a crease brush, and there's another crease brush as well. It's not called the crease, but it's a similar shape, only it's it's called the tapered blending. It's a little bit fluffier, but this is the crease brush. This is one I use a lot. Just like the name suggests, it gets, you know, product right in the crease. I like to also use on the outer corner and just kind of place product there and sweep into the crease. Great, great brush. This is one I use all the time. I've used it in several video tutorials. And then to go along with that, like I said, is the tapered blending brush. I'm not sure why it's called tapers. I don't feel like it tapers. But anyways, that's what it's called, the tapered blending brush. But it's basically your standard fluffy blending brush. So once you get product in the crease, you could use this brush to blend and diffuse your product out. Great brush. This is one I also use all the time in a lot of my tutorials. Another brush you see me using quite often as well is their pencil brush. It's just your standard pencil brush, and I have pencil brushes from a couple other brands as well. This one is my favorite. There's just something about the quality of this one is just so nice. It's so soft. I have another brush, I think it's like from Crown or something like that, another pencil brush, and another one from another brand, and they just feel so coarse and rough. It's just not nice. This is a very soft brush. It blends beautifully. I like to use it on my inner corner, on my brow bone. I love the one from Beauty Junkies the best. Then it also includes a flat definer brush. This is your standard flat top, flat definer brush for like getting on the lower lash line and things like that. It also has an angled angled shading brush. Looks like this, just like an angled brush. It's kind of more flat-ish and it's angled. This is the type of brush that I used to use all the time back in the day when I first started doing my makeup and doing tutorials and things like that. I would love this brush for getting a really precise like outer V and then into the crease. It's just a perfect brush for that. But this isn't a brush type that I just reach for very often, so I hardly ever use this brush, but someone else might. It just comes in the set, so I mean it's still a nice brush to have. It's a very soft brush. All the brushes in the Beauty Junkie brand are very soft and beautiful, but that's what's included in that. And the last one is another one that I love using. This one's similar to another brush that I'm going to mention, the Sedona Lace EB09. So I'm going to mention that one, but if you don't want to purchase from a bunch of different companies or websites or brands, you kind of get a similar brush here. This is their Pro Blending Brush, and basically, as you can see, it's like comes to a taper and it kind of comes to a point, but it's a little bit blunt cut up here. And this brush is just so perfect for getting like a precise blend in the crease. Like you can get color really precise in the outer corner as well as precise in the crease because it does taper and come to like a point. Tapers this way, like this is what I mean. So because it has a taper, it gets precise, but because it's a little bit wider down here, you can get it in the crease and then just blend, and it blends just so pretty. I love this type of brush so much. So those are all the brushes you get in this set for I believe $25, which I think is a good deal, and I think they're often doing discount codes. I think even if I reach out to them, I could probably get a discount code. Another thing to note is that this is a brand that I work with or work for. So if you visit their site, you will most likely see my face and some of my videos on their site. So I don't work with brands. Let me just say this. I don't mention this just because I work for them and they're paying me. They're not paying me for this video at all. I mention this because these are brushes I actually love and use. So I'm not mentioning this because I work for them, but here's the thing. I don't work with brands unless I truly love the brand. And so this is a brand that I love. They also have makeup and other things, but I first fell in love with their beauty tools, their makeup tools, their makeup brushes and things like that. Love. It's a brand I love and really highly recommend. So that's why I'm mentioning that. I'm not getting paid whatsoever. And if I have a discount code for you, it won't be affiliate at all. It'll just be a code for you guys. So I just want to mention that first because it's a very affordable, great affordable option for you guys. And yeah, I've said enough. Let's move on. Now, since I already mentioned this just a minute ago, I figured I'd mention it now, but the Sedona Lace EB09. I feel like I don't use this brush as much as I used to, but this used to be my go-to brush. If you watch any of my tutorials, my older tutorials especially, or even any tutorial before I got the Smith brushes, this brush was my jam. I have two right here, but I have four, I believe, in total. Like, that's how much I love this brush. That's how much I believe in this brush. That's how much it's my favorite brush. But basically, the Sedona Lace EB09 brush is basically the same type of brush. It's like a blending brush that comes to a tapered point like this with a little bit of a blunt cut up here. And again, just like I said with the other one, it gets right into the crease. It could get color like right down here and blend. I love it. It's so good. Next up are some more blending brushes. This is another one just like the ones that are in here. Okay, I didn't really mention this, but I'm going to briefly right now. Let me get these blending brushes out. Some brushes have like the black hairs and some have the white hairs. I could be wrong, but I feel like this is not always the case. Sometimes they're natural hair, but oftentimes the ones with the black hair are synthetic, and the ones with white are natural hair. I can't remember with these ones from Beauty Junkies, but Anyways, they look similar. So this is a blending brush, this is a blending brush, but they kind of blend differently. And I think it just has to do with the different hair, whether these are both natural or not. The hair is obviously different because one's white, one's black. I feel like the white ones are goat hair. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like that's what it is. And these are something else. I will put it on the screen or put it in the description box. But even though they're both blending brushes and they both look almost identical, they do blend a little bit differently. So I love to have this kind of blending brush on hand as well as this one. Sometimes this one just works better with matte products. Matte, not MAC. Sound like I said MAC, but anyways. And sometimes, I don't know, this one, I can't even remember now. I just know that I like to have both types of blending brushes. So basically, this is just another blending brush that looks just like this one, but it works just a little bit differently. Sometimes natural hair brushes just work a little bit differently. Anyways, let me just say, this is the Morphe M518 brush. Not affiliated with Morphe whatsoever. I purchased this at Ebates as well, and it's just a fluffy blending brush. You can't go wrong with a fluffy blending brush in your collection. And the next one I have is one that I have been using a lot more recently as well. This is the Morphe M562, and this one is just a teeny tiny little guy of a blending brush. And I got this one recently while I was at Ebates as well, so this is a fairly new one that you guys have been seeing me use in my tutorials. And it's just what I've been looking for. When I went to Ebates this year, my goal was to buy more brushes and kind of get different brushes in my collection than the ones I've had, to try to help me try different techniques and try to better my makeup game. And what I really wanted was a lot more precise, smaller detailer brushes and smaller detailer blending brushes, because you could always get detailed brushes that are like kind of pack-on product, but none that blend them out. So I really wanted a small detailer blending brush, and that's exactly what this is. I love this brush. I've been using this a ton in a lot of my tutorials lately. I think this is a must-have brush. Moving on to some smudgy brushes. These are pretty much like the same kind of brush. They look like this. They're just little dense, somewhat flat, but not really. They're just kind of little dense, tiny, smudgy brushes. That's exactly what they are. And they're both actually labeled that way. This one is from Sigma. I am a Sigma affiliate now. And so if you love Sigma and want a discount, or would like to try Sigma and want a discount, I'll have a discount code for you. I'll put it on the screen and in the description box. I think it's like saves you 10%. Anyways, this is the Sigma Smudge E21. It's just a tiny little guy. I feel like it works really great for getting like on the lower lash line when you really want to just really get that tight punch of color. Like this will pack a punch of color, but it gets a really tight, precise along the lash line. And then this next one is a new one to me from Stelazzi. This is their Smudge L208. And again, this is another one, because it's a little bit flatter and longer, I feel like you get even more precise along the lash line, but again, it packs a punch and really smudges some color up in there. So smudgy brushes are always great to have in your brush collection as well. All right, next up I have a slew of flat brushes that I use. I use a variety of brushes, just depends on what's clean or what's nearest to me, but these are the ones I feel like I reach for the most for packing on shimmer shadows, for packing on glitter, or for packing on anything that people would recommend using your finger with. Like, say, a lot of people like using their finger with metallic shadows or shimmer shadows or glitter. I don't like that because I like to get precise. I feel like I have small hands, I believe, but I feel like my eyes are like so small that I cannot put on shadow with my fingers. I don't even know how people do it with like big old long nails. See people with giant long nails and they're like, oh, I'm gonna place a shadow on here, and I'm like, how are you not gouging your eye out? I don't know. I prefer brushes. I feel like you can still use brushes with certain shadows that might be difficult and better with a finger and still get them to look good. You just need the right brush. So for me, these are them. This is a, I think it's called like the medium shader brush. It's from NBA Cosmetics. I will have it linked. I love this brush. I use this a lot with their Silk Effect shadows and metallic shadows. It's a really great brush. I feel like this is like horsehair, so it's a natural hair. It works great because it's like flat, but it's also somewhat dense. It gets shadow on so well. Additionally, from NBA Cosmetics is a similar brush. It's just a little bit smaller, so you could see the length of, well, let's see there, the length of them. This one's just a little bit smaller. So this one I use for a little bit more precise application of like glitter or like inner corner or something. I use this a lot for that kind of stuff. Then there is the detailer brush from Real Techniques. I don't know if this is available individually because I got it in a set. So I'm not sure if it's available. Years ago is when I got this. So I don't even know if it is still available. I will have it linked if it is available. This is a synthetic brush. As you can see, it's a flat brush. It also comes to a point. You probably can't tell, but it comes to a little point like this. Looks like a little house top. And this one is a really great brush because it's synthetic. It does work really well, especially with those metallic shades. And I like to use it with glitter as well for a more detailed look. And then the last two are again from Morphe. I feel like one of these is a lip brush or both of them are lip brush. I don't know, but I like to use them for my eyes. This one right here is the E19, and they actually look almost identical, except for this one's just a little bit whiter, but basically the same. They're flat and they come to a point like a little house. And I use them both for the same exact thing. So I use those with the shimmers, metallic shades that are known as difficult shades. I feel like both of these are synthetic. This one for sure looks synthetic. I'm kind of guessing, but they both seem synthetic. If you are having trouble with some metallic shadows that people say work better with a finger, synthetic brushes usually are your best bet to go with. Although I will say that this one from Ebates Cosmetics, which isn't synthetic, works so good. So I think these two are the only ones that are not synthetic, and they still work amazing with metallic shadows. Anyways, moving on to another amazing brush for metallic shadows. You know, it's funny, this one looks almost identical. It even feels almost identical to the Makeup Geek foiled shadow brush. It's like a brush that was specifically made to use with foiled shadows. I don't know if they still have it, but I bought it a long time ago thinking, oh, that's gonna help me. I don't feel like it did better than the other brushes I have, but anyways, this one looks just like it. It's probably a little bit cheaper. This is the Royal & Langnickel BX80 brush. You guys have probably heard me use this a ton. This is my go-to favorite brush to use with glitters, especially the chroma light glitters from Ebates Cosmetics. So this is the brush I always mention. I have, I think, 3 of them. I love this brush. I recommend this brush all the time. When people say, what's the best brush to use with pressed glitters or the Ebates Cosmetics chroma lights, this is the brush I recommend. You're able to just really pick up the glitters, the pressed glitter, and then place it down, pat it, and then it kind of smooths it. It just works really good. Additionally, like I said, because it's similar to the Makeup Geek foiled shadow brush, it works great with foiled shadows. It works great with foiled shadows as well. They are synthetic bristles, so it works great with foiled shadows as well. Just like the other ones, the only difference is this one's a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker. It's kind of similar to the Beauty Junkies. This one's a lot thinner though. The Beauty Junkies All Over Shader brush. Let me grab it real quick. Somewhat similar, as you can see. The shape and size. This one's just a little bit bigger and a little bit more dense, but fairly similar. I feel like because this one's just not as dense and it's a little bit flatter, I feel like I have a little bit more control with it. But yeah, I love that one. Okay, more recently you guys have been seeing me use this one a ton. This is the BH Cosmetics Angled Liner Brush. I've been using this a lot with detailed work, as far as using like the liquid glitters from BH Cosmetics to get that like glitter cut crease kind of a look, but you could also use this to line your eyes. Obviously it's a liner brush, it's a bent liner. I love it because this is such, I've seen other ones like this from like e.l.f. Cosmetics, and the quality is not as good. I feel like the bristles aren't as stiff. This one's stiff but also loose, like movable, so I just love it. The other one from e.l.f. that I have is like the bristles are like kind of go crazy. They don't stay like defined, so you don't get as defined of a point, so that's why I love this one. Unfortunately, I think this is only available in a set. The set is a good set, even though I didn't mention those brushes, but they are really good. Here's one of them from the set, and it's like a very tapered blending brush. This is not one I reach for a ton, but I actually would recommend this brush set. For one, BH Cosmetics is very affordable. This brush set I think was like $7, maybe $9, and I think there's like, well, this is number 7, so I feel like there's 9 brushes or possibly 7 brushes in the set. But I feel like it's a really great brush set for someone who has hooded eyes. I mean, I don't have hooded eyes, but I love this brush because I feel like it gets a precise application but blends it because it's so long and tapered, but it's very fluffy. It's not super dense, so it's going to get a soft blend. But I feel like because of the shape, it would be really great for someone with hooded eyes. And so, I don't know, I use it every once in a while, but not often enough for me to mention it, but I will, obviously I'm kind of mentioning it now, so I would recommend, I'll leave that below. But if you don't want to purchase a set just for this little brush or just for that, or you don't think it's a brush that you will need, NBA Cosmetics also has a brush just like this. It's just a bent liner brush. I'll have that linked. I actually don't have that brush. I never thought to purchase it. I actually never thought to purchase this. The only reason I have it is because I purchased that brush set for other brushes, and then I ended up falling in love with this one and using it a lot, so that's why I have it. But anyways, that's an NBA Cosmetics does have an alternative. I can't say the quality, like I said, because I don't have the brush, but I'm sure it's great because other brushes they have are really good quality, like the ones I mentioned. So moving on to the very last set of brushes. Now these ones will be of no surprise to you guys if you're familiar with my tutorials lately, ever since I came back from IMATS. But I decided to mention these last because these are ones that are some of the most expensive. I think these are like $22 or $24 brushes. I got them at a discount, but the discount wasn't like amazing. They were still like $20 or $19 at IMATS. But I decided to splurge because my whole like budget, not my whole, a big part of my budget for IMATS this year was to be going towards brushes. So I decided to splurge on Smith because I've heard such great things. And I'm very happy that I did splurge, and I actually want to order more. I don't know if I'm going to wait till IMATS next year if I go next year, or just order some more when I have a little extra money, because I would like to try more brushes in addition to having backups of these, because clearly they're dirty. Well, I did use them today, but it would be nice to have backups of these while I'm washing them and stuff like that. But anyways, if you feel like you have the money to splurge, I will say, and I hardly ever say this, if you have seen any of my videos in the past, I've often said you don't have to spend a lot of money on brushes. You can get good quality brushes for a very affordable price, but having these, I will say, oh gosh, they are amazing. I love them, and I would recommend them if you have the money to spend on makeup brushes. Anyways, moving on, I have the Smith 230 brush and then the Smith 232. They're basically like the same type of brush, only the Smith 232 is a little bit bigger, and it's actually, if I'm going back again, it's a similar idea to the Beauty Junkies ones. Obviously a little bit different because these are the white haired, which, as I said, I feel like blends a little bit differently. I will say that I prefer the white hair bristles a little bit more, if I'm being honest, when it comes to makeup brushes and blending brushes. I love the white ones. But see how I mentioned these ones from Beauty Junkies earlier? You have the littler one that kind of places the product, and then you have the bigger one to blend the product. It's the same kind of deal with these ones. You have the Smith 230, which is a little bit smaller. It's still a pretty fluffy blending brush, but it is smaller. This really places the product. You get it on the outer corner, you can get it in the crease, really place the product. It will diffuse it, but not as much as this one. So once you place it with this one, then go in with this very, very fluffy one. Blend, 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 blend. Ah, perfection. I love these brushes. So yeah, I just want to save them for last just because I know they're expensive, but I have been using them a ton, and I just want to give you guys other options of similar brushes and just the different brushes I've been using, the brushes that are my favorite, and you will see me use a lot of them interchangeably. Of course, lately I have been using the Smith brushes the most often. I just feel like they're very versatile. Like, I can do almost a whole look with just these two brushes. Now, of course, there are some things that need a little bit more detailed work, but lately I've been gravitating towards using these. But again, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have good quality makeup brushes and get beautiful looks. All these other ones that I mentioned, aside from the Sigma one, are very affordable and good quality brushes. But anyways, with all that being said, that is it for my favorite brushes for eye makeup, eyeshadow. I really hope you guys enjoyed this and found it helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below letting me know your thoughts if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and be sure to check the description box for more info and links to the products. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes.